I wouldn't say that I'm shy. I just don't like talking to people. Unless they are mutant turtles who know ninjutsu, of course. I remember the day they saved me from the purple dragons. I remember it like it was yesterday. Well, that's because it happened about 5 months ago. And that day was the start of a beautiful friendship. After that night, I started hanging out with them after school. Donnie would help me with some homework for classes, Leo would teach me some ancient Japanese fighting styles in his free time, and Raph would mostly avoid me until he found out that I liked to drive motorcycles and that I owned 5 at my house. And Mikey would ask if I'd like to help him cook or watch movies or play video games with him. Soon enough, I started to fall in love with that idiot. Like sometimes I'd be over while we are training and Mikey would grab my attention when he was doing something cool. He would always fall over or get tackled on by his brothers or get whacked by Master Splinter's staff. In the end, I would giggle and turn my head. And when I was done, I would turn my head back to him to see him with a small blush on his face. I was walking through the sewers and I was having a small argument in my head. I was debating whether or not I should confess my feelings to Mikey. I have been giving him subtle hints, but I don't think he has picked up on them, considering he is the most oblivious person I have ever met, but also the kindest. I would hold his hand or snuggle up to him while we were watching movies. There would be a few times I would randomly hug him, and I'd give him a peck on his cheek when he would help me with cooking. I finally made up my mind as I entered the lair. I saw that the boys were training, so I decided to wait to talk to Mikey after. I made my way over to the couch, and I pulled my laptop out of my backpack and sat it on my lap. After I started up my laptop, I logged in. Then someone sat next to me. I turned to my left and I saw that it was Raph. "Can I help you?" I asked as I turned back to my laptop. "Yeah, I noticed your lips look lonely. Would they like to meet mine?" he asked. I immediately stopped what I was doing. I could feel the heat rush to my cheeks. "Excuse me?" I asked. "Did it hurt when you fell from heaven?" he flirtatiously asked. I heard a grunt and something drop behind me. I turned my body and saw Mikey with an unreadable expression. He turned around and bolted to his room. Never have I ever seen Mikey run that fast. I quickly shut off my laptop and ran after him. I didn't bother to say anything to Raph. Right now, my #1 priority was to see if Mikey was okay. I bolted out of the living room and headed towards Mikey's room. I missed the confused looks from Leo and Donnie, and I didn't really care. After a few minutes of running, I finally got to Mikey's room. I tried to control my breathing before I knocked. I took a deep breath and let it out. Then I knocked on the door. "Mikey, it's me. I came to make sure that you are okay. Please open the door. For me," I said softly. I heard a click and watched as the door opened. There in front of me stood a very upset Mikey. It broke my heart to see him so sad. He looked like he was on the verge of crying. I took his hand and walked inside the room. I closed the door and I walked Mikey over to the bed. I pulled my other hand onto his face and used my hands to massage his face to help calm him down. He sighed and leaned into my palm. "Mikey, are you okay?" I asked softly, carefully not to anger him more than he already is. "No. I had a plan today to confess something to you, and Raph started flirting with you. I knew I shouldn't have told the others about it," he answers, his voice cracking, indicating that he was starting to cry. "I have something to confess to you as well," I said, gaining his attention. He looked at me and I smiled. I have feelings for you, and wow, this is much harder to say than I thought. I want to be more than friends with you," I said nervously. I had the courage and then lost it halfway through. Mikey smiled, and then it turned into a mischievous grin. "Oh, really? I have the same feelings," he said before pressing his lips to mine. The kiss was rough, passionate, and felt so right. He was the puzzle piece I was missing. Soon enough, we both pulled apart to catch our breath. Mikey still had the grin and suddenly grabbed my hands and pushed me down onto the bed. He put his mouth right by my ear, and I could feel his warm breath. "Tell me, Angel, is this all you've ever dreamed of?" he asked before biting my ear, then slowly moving down towards my neck, kissing, sucking, and biting until he hit my sweet spot, where I let out the loudest moan ever. Mikey chuckling and kept attacking the sweet spot. After hitting the same spot a few times, he moved his head up and looked at me in the eyes. I saw a twinkle in them, and I was so hypnotized by them that I didn't realize that he had put his lips back onto mine. I closed my eyes, wanting to get closer to him. He then bit my lip, asking for permission. I playfully denied. Mikey did not like that. He used one of his hands to keep both of my hands above my head, and the other moved to my hip. He pinched it, and I let out a small gasp, allowing his tongue to enter. His tongue played with mine, moving in sync and dancing in an unspoken rhythm. He then pulled apart and let my hands go. "Sorry if I hurt you, darling," he said. I hugged him and laid on the bed with him and cuddled for the rest of the day.